It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that one may elevate himself to the higher planetary systems even up to Brahmaloka by dint of pious activities. But when the effects of such pious activities are finished, one again comes back to this earth to begin a new life of activities. Thus, even though one is promoted to the higher planetary system for enjoyment and a long duration of life, still that is not a permanent settlement. But as far as the devotees are concerned, their assets, the achievement of devotional service and the consequent opulence of Vaikuntha, even on this planet, are never destroyed. In this verse, Kapil Dev addresses his mother as Shanta Rupa, indicating that the opulences of devotees are fixed because devotees are eternally fixed in Vaikuntha atmosphere, which is called Shanta Rupa because it is in the mode of pure goodness, undisturbed by the modes of passion and ignorance. Once one is fixed in devotional service of the Lord, his position of transcendental service cannot be destroyed, and the pleasure and service simply increase unlimitedly. For the devotees engaged in Krishna consciousness, in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time. In material world, the influence of time destroys everything. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of time or of the demigods, because there are no demigods in the Vaikuntha planets. Here, our activities are controlled by different demigods. Even if we move our hand and leg, the action is controlled by the demigods. But in the Vaikuntha atmosphere, there is no influence of the demigods or of time. Therefore, there is no question of destruction. When the time element is present, there is certainty of destruction. But when there is no time element, past, present, future, then everything is eternal. Therefore, this verse uses the words nanankshanti, indicating that the transcendental opulences will never be destroyed. The reason for freedom from destruction is also described. The devotees accept the Supreme Lord as the most dear personality and reciprocate with Him in different relationships. They accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the dearmost friend, the dearmost relative, the dearmost son, the dearmost preceptor, the dearmost well-wisher, or the dearmost deity. The Lord is eternal. Therefore, any relationship in which we accept Him is also eternal. It is clearly confirmed herein that the relationships cannot be destroyed, and therefore the opulences of those relationships are never destroyed. Every living entity has the propensity to love someone. We can see that if someone has no object of love, he generally directs his love to a pet animal like a cat or a dog. Thus, the eternal propensity for love in all living entities is always searching for a place to reside. From this verse, we can learn that we can love the Supreme Personality of Godhead as our dearmost object, as a friend, as a son, as a preceptor, or as a well-wisher. And there will be no cheating and no end to such love. We shall eternally enjoy the relationship with the Supreme Lord in different aspects. A special feature of this verse is the acceptance of the Supreme Lord as the Supreme Preceptor. Bhagavad Gita was spoken directly by the Supreme Lord, and Arjuna accepted Krishna as Guru or spiritual master. Similarly, we should accept only Krishna as the Supreme Spiritual Master. Krishna, of course, means Krishna and his confidential devotees. Krishna is not alone. When we speak of Krishna, Krishna means Krishna in his name, in his form, in his qualities, in his abode, and in his associates. Krishna is never alone, for the devotees of Krishna are not impersonalists. For example, a king is always associated with his secretary, his commander, his servant, and so much paraphernalia. As soon as we accept Krishna and his associates as our preceptors, no ill effects can destroy our knowledge. In the material world, the knowledge which we acquire may change because of the influence of time. But nevertheless, the conclusions received from Bhagavad Gita directly from the speeches of the Supreme Lord Krishna can never change. There is no use interpreting Bhagavad Gita. It is eternal. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, should be accepted as one's best friend. He will never cheat. He will always give his friendly advice and friendly protection to the devotee. If Krishna is accepted as a son, he will never die. Here we have a very loving son or child, but the father and mother or those who are affectionate towards him always hope, may my son not die. But Krishna actually never will die. Therefore, those who accept Krishna or the Supreme Lord as their son will never be bereft of their son. In many instances, devotees have accepted the deity as a son. In Bengal, there are many such instances, and even after the death of the devotee, the deity performs the Shraddha ceremony for the father. Ever heard of a deity performing Shraddha? It only happens to devotees. It doesn't happen to others. The relationship is never destroyed. People are accustomed to worship different forms of demigods, but in Bhagavad Gita such a mentality is condemned. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different forms such as Lakshmi Narayana, Sita Rama and Radha Krishna. Thus one will never be cheated. By worshipping the demigods, one may elevate himself to the higher planets, but during the dissolution of the material world, the deity and the abode of the deity will be destroyed. But one who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead is promoted to the Vaikuntha planets, where there is no influence of time, destruction or annihilation. The conclusion is that the time influence cannot act upon the devotees who have accepted the Supreme Personality of Godhead as everything. The previous verses, Lord Kapila had explained that the devotees who worship the Supreme Lord, who exclusively worship the Supreme Lord, Krishna, they are easily able to obtain liberation without separate endeavor. They do not care for any other benediction, material benediction, or even for any spiritual benefit. And without desiring any of those, they enjoy all the offered benedictions. Now here, in this verse, today's verse, he is further explaining what is the nature of such benedictions that devotees get. It is not like the benedictions the others get from demigods or from their resultant reactions to pious activities. Material world means the time factor is working always. So the time factor destroys. It is destroying our body. It is going to destroy all our possessions. If we have any relationships, material relationships, they'll also be broken. That is not the case with devotees' relationship with Krishna. Devotees' relationship with Krishna is eternal. And whatever benedictions the devotees receive without even asking, such benedictions are always eternal. They are never temporary. They are never destroyed. They are never subject to influence of time. One of the most difficult things for people to understand in this world is the effect of time, the influence of time. What does time do? And this effect or influence of time is imperceptible. We don't realize. how time is acting every moment. Many places in the Bhagavatam this is explained. Ayur harati vai pumsam. Those who are non-devotees, the Bhagavatam declares, their duration of life is taken away by the setting and rising of the sun. The movement of the sun actually gives us an indication of the time factor, day and night. But this day and night, we get so accustomed to accept this day and night as something which is really nice for us, because we are active in the day and then at night we either take rest, or different people have different engagements based on their own choice or schedules. So this time factor, we take it like, oh, it is so nice. But the destructive effect of time factor, we don't take note of. And under the influence of illusion, even if we suffer some loss or reversals in our life due to the effect of time, under the effect of influence of illusion, we are prone to forgetfulness. Our material life begins with forgetfulness of Krishna. But then this forgetfulness extends to so many other realities. As soon as we forget Krishna, we forget all other associated realities also. We forget ourselves. We forget who we are. And of course, all the relationship or all things connected with Krishna, that also we forget. So this effect of illusion is very, very powerful. And the most important thing we should remember as the effect or influence of illusion is this time factor, kala. The most important effect of this time factor, because we are so much self-centered, to different degrees people are self-centered. So even if there is some loss in terms of what is considered as mine, my possessions or my relatives or my whatever is mine, ultimately I think that I am going to live forever. And accordingly, I keep making some adjustment. It's like it's very common. Somebody loses their grandparents. Grandparents die. And then they feel some loss. They suffer some distress. And after some time, they reconcile. Oh, my parents are there. And then parents die. Oh, my children are there. Somebody is there. Somehow they pacify. So this effect of illusion, illusory energy, is very, very powerful to make us forget the reality of the temporary nature of everything in this world, including our own body. Finally, when the time comes for us to quit this body, that is the greatest calamity. That is the greatest calamity. Because our whole basis of existence in one particular life is the body. And even the higher planetary systems, their false ego makes them think that, oh, I have got a body which is got a very long duration of life. practically I am immortal. The Devatas, another name for Devatas is Amara. In Sanskrit they study all these synonyms. So one of the synonyms for Devata is Amara. Amara means they never die. They never die. But is it a fact that they don't die? Even Brahma has to die. What to speak of other Devatas? So this misconception, I am not going to die, I am going to live forever. So if people on the earth forget about their own death of their body, what to speak of others on the higher planets? Even Brahma, if he is a non-devotee, he thinks that he is going to live forever. And why shouldn't Brahma think he is going to live forever? What a fantastic long lifespan he has got. Compared to the lifespan of even the Devatas. Brahma has got such a long lifespan. So Brahma also thinks if he is a non-devotee. So this is true for all categories of non-devotees, whether they are Devatas or they are in the position of Brahma or they are humans. All non-devotees, they think that they are never going to die. Or even if death is there, I have got a lot of time before death comes. Let me enjoy before death comes. So this illusion is very, very powerful. Only one who cultivates devotional service is able to actually perceive this effect of illusion. This illusory energy is acting only on the non-devotees. Illusion or illusory energy cannot act on the devotees. That is the opulence of the devotees. That is because the devotees take shelter of the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. Devotees give up shelter of the external energy, of the illusory energy. Why? Because devotees don't want to enjoy any material happiness or material pleasures. All material pleasures, material opulences, material relationships are under the external energy. So devotees give up this shelter of external energy. When we chant Hare Krishna, Hare refers to the internal energy of Krishna, the spiritual potency. So we are seeking shelter of the internal potency of Krishna. And if you are able to take shelter properly by following the principles of Bhakti Yoga, then influence of this external energy or illusory energy will never be there on our consciousness. We are completely aloof from this illusory energy. So no time factor, no influence of time factor also. The time factor cannot act. So the Bhagavatam describes, while the non-devotees, with every rising and setting of the sun, their duration of life is reducing, for the devotees, as they execute devotional service, their duration of life is increasing. How is that? They are progressing towards eternal life. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a very nice example. He says in the Smriti Shastra that it is said that if somebody gives in charity according to the recommendations of the Shastra, then they get back in their next life whatever they are given in charity several times multiplied. It is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. So the Shastras say, if they give to a very, very ordinary Brahmana, because charity should be given to a Brahmana, then only there is benefit of giving that charity. Otherwise, if charity is given to somebody who is not a qualified Brahmana, not a Brahmana, then that charity is useless. It's simply a false sense of satisfaction of having given charity for the person who gives charity. So, benefit is there only if somebody gives to a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. So, somebody gives to an ordinary Brahmana, then he is having guaranteed bank balance of getting back that money in his next life, equal amount. If he gives to a Brahmana who has got little qualification, that he has studied the Vedas, then he gets back several times multiplied, say 10 times multiplied. If he gives to a Brahmana who is fully qualified in the Vedas, he has become a learned Brahmana by properly studying all the divisions of the Shastra. Then he gets back several hundreds of times multiplied whatever charity he gives. And like that it goes on. If he gives to a Brahmana who has realized the absolute truth, then he gets back money unlimited times multiplied. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, if somebody executes devotional service, then they get back whatever time they have spent. That much they are guaranteed to get eternal life, spiritual life, so many millions of times multiplied. So, if somebody executes pure devotional service, then they are guaranteed eternal life. They will actually get eternal life, means you will never die. Your duration of life will never reduce, will never be limited by any amount. It will be unlimited. You are getting unlimited life. So like that, even the opulences of a devotee, we cannot estimate what is the spiritual opulence of a devotee, because we only make material calculations. And we may see sometimes devotees are materially very, very poor. So we may think, oh, devotees are poor people. But what is the spiritual opulence of a devotee? That not everybody can understand or properly calculate the value of spiritual opulence. That Krishna demonstrated through one Leela. You all know Sudama. Sudama's position actually was one of spiritual opulence. But what will people think when they look at him in a poverty-stricken condition? Oh, this Brahmana, he is Daridra. He is actually poverty-stricken. He is simply suffering. But actually, Sudama was not suffering. He was leading a very opulent life. Because he was engaged in devotional service, and he voluntarily kept himself in a poverty-stricken condition so that he may not get entangled in different material things. See, this is the important point, that a devotee, while he is executing devotional service, he takes care not to get entangled in some material things. Because that material entanglement will be an obstacle on his path of progress towards the spiritual destination. So, Sudama was very careful. He would fast if he would not get any food. And that a Brahmana is allowed to beg if he does not have food. Some grains he can go and beg. Anybody will give a Brahmana. At least in the Vedic culture, that is true. People will happily give to a Brahmana who comes begging. But Sudama even did not go begging. Why? Because of his complete dependence on the Supreme Personality of God. He would do his duties, spiritual duties, and if the Lord sends something, I will accept. Otherwise, he'll just drink water and sleep. So his wife, seeing his condition, that he's not always getting some food grains, therefore his wife decided one day to request him that I have heard your friend is the king of Dwarka, Krishna is your dear friend from Gurukul. Why don't you visit him? Why don't you just visit him? So first time when he heard the suggestion from his wife, Sudama said, no. I don't want to go and ask him anything. I am satisfied. I am happy with whatever he has given. I am happy. I don't want to ask him anything. But then when his wife insisted that he should go, he thought, it's an opportunity for me to actually meet my friend. Not to ask him anything, just to meet him. Just to see him, just to meet him. My old friend, let me meet him. So with that idea he went. And then not only that, he decided not to ask Krishna anything, he decided to take some gift for Krishna. Look at the mentality. Not only he is not asking anything, he himself is poverty stricken, but he decides to give a gift. Now how will he give a gift? He himself doesn't have. So he tells his wife, go and beg some chipped rice. So the wife goes and begs some chipped rice and brings it. He happily takes that and carries it for Krishna. And you see, when Krishna receives him, this poverty-stricken Brahmana, because he was a Brahmana, he was not stopped, even though he was Kuchela. Another name for him was Kuchela. Means he is dressed in a niggardly way, torn cloths. He doesn't wear proper cloth. He doesn't have. He won't beg. So he is wearing some torn cloth, some old cloth. So he is going, everybody is astonished. Who is this poverty-stricken Brahmana? They thought maybe he has come to ask some dakshina or some dana. Of course, Krishna will give dana. Why will he not give to a Brahmana? So, Brahmana was allowed. And then he went straight to Krishna, and Krishna recognized him. Krishna recognized him. And he received him very nicely. My old friend from Gurukul, Sudama. And Krishna made him sit on his own throne, washed his feet, and worshipped him. Everybody in the palace is astonished. Who is this person who is so fortunate to receive worship from Krishna? He is such a poverty-stricken person. They can all see. He is emaciated. He is very, very weak. He is only skin and bones. And he is receiving worship. And then Krishna is actually offering him nice food, nice arati, everything. After that, Krishna is talking to him, and during the course of the talk, he is saying, oh, he is carrying something. Oh, you have brought something for me. Krishna could understand that he has brought some chipped rice, but actually is hesitating to give, thinking that this is not suitable for Krishna. So he is hesitating to give, but Krishna snatched from his hand and took that chipped rice and started eating. Oh, this is so nice. It is simple dried chipped rice. There is no, not even something prepared with it. But Krishna is eating and telling, very nice, very nice. So Rukmini actually is fanning the Sudama. Krishna is worshipping, then Rukmini and all the others have to also actually serve this Brahmana. He is a guest of Krishna. So Rukmini is fanning and seeing Krishna is eating that chipped rice. So Rukmini, after Krishna took one morsel and ate and went for the second morsel, immediately Rukmini stopped Krishna. Enough. Why? Because she is thinking that if Krishna takes something, then in exchange for that, Rukmini is Lakshmi, Sakshat Lakshmi. How much she has to give in exchange to that Brahmana? Already for that one morsel, she is not able to calculate how much she has to give to this Brahmana. And she is thinking, if Krishna takes one more morsel, then I have to permanently go and stay in this Brahmana's house. I'll be not able to even stay with Krishna here. So she says, stop, enough. This itself, one morsel itself, I have to make arrangements now. With great difficulty, I may be able to, but no more. That's it, enough. So Krishna understood, yes, Rukmini is in trouble. If I take one more, said, okay, fine. So then, after all that exchange is over, everything very nice, then Krishna told Sudama, stay overnight here. Then you can go next day. So next day morning, very happily, he finished all this thing and he is leaving. On the way, he is thinking that his wife wanted him to take something from Krishna, but he did not ask. Neither Krishna offered him anything. Apparently, Krishna offered him nothing. Right? Krishna did not give him anything except that food and nice place to stay and some arati and all that. That's all. But Krishna did not give him anything. Some gift like that Krishna did not give. So he thought, Krishna knows my mind. That I am in a poverty-stricken condition, I am able to control my senses, I am able to do my duties very nicely. Supposing I get opulence, Krishna did not give me anything because I may get bewildered, I may go into illusion. So Krishna is so kind upon me. He was thinking like this while going back home. But one particular thing he noted, that I am such an insignificant fellow, I am a sinful person. See, one of the reasons why people suffer any distress is due to their past sinful activities. So this Sudama was thinking, I am in a poverty-stricken condition, suffering so much distress apparently due to that poverty-stricken condition, that due to my own past sinful activities. Kwaham daridra papiyan. Kwa Krishna Sriniketanaha. Who is Krishna? He is the husband of the goddess of fortune. And I am a sinful friend of a Brahmana. I am not even a Brahmana. I am not a qualified Brahmana. I am a sinful fellow. Because of that I am suffering the reactions of my past sinful activities. A poverty-stricken Brahmana. But what did Krishna do? Bahubhyam parirambitaha. Brahma bandhur ivasmaham bahubhyam parirambitaha. Even though I am actually a Brahma bandhu, I am an unqualified Brahmana, I am not even a qualified Brahmana, still he embraced me with his own arms. Krishna is so kind to me, so kind. So he was thinking that Krishna did him a great favor by embracing him, by worshipping him, by receiving him so nicely, so affectionately. But Krishna did not give me any gift. That is also Krishna's mercy, Krishna's kindness. But when he went home, he saw something else. And then he could understand that actually Krishna will never take something and not give in return. Krishna will never do that. All this opulence he has given me, now I have to be careful. If he had not given me opulence, it would have been very easy for me. No need for any warning, any alertness. But now that he has given me opulence, I should be very careful to use it only in his service and never for sense gratification. This was the alertness with which he considered all that Krishna had given him after that meeting. So in this way, Krishna showed that my devotees don't think they are poverty stricken. Don't think they are suffering. Never. Devotees never suffer. Apparently, a devotee may undergo some suffering, but that suffering is actually guaranteed spiritual bank balance. That is what the devotee should understand. A neophyte devotee, and even others who are non-devotees, they should understand. A devotee actually is under the personal care of Krishna, personal protection. Only for devotees, Krishna has got this personal protection and care. For everyone else, Krishna has got his agents. Through his agency, he will take care, he will maintain, he will supply, he will provide. He is the provider, maintainer, supplier for everyone, including the non-devotees. But for non-devotees, he has nothing to do personally. His agents are there. But for devotees, Krishna personally takes charge. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. That verse in the Bhagavad Gita. That Krishna personally takes charge of their well-being. So, how can somebody who is personally maintained, taken care of by Krishna be ever in distress? How can a devotee ever be in any difficulty? Never. So apparently devotees go through some difficulty, maybe having some scarcity, but those are all apparent. Those are all for the material vision. Those are all material. Spiritually, a devotee is always having everything in plenty. Spiritually, he is never poverty stricken. That's why many times in the scriptures it is said, Tapodhana. Parashurama is described Tapodhana Rama. There are 3 Ramas in the Dashavatara Stotra, in the Dashavatara description. One is Parashurama, other one is Kodandarama, third one is Balarama. So sometimes Parashurama is also described as Tapodhana Rama. He had done so much tapasya, that is his wealth. So a Brahmana or a devotee, his wealth is not material wealth. His wealth is the austerity he has performed, the amount of devotional service he has done, the amount of chanting he has performed. Just like Haridas Thakur. For ordinary vision, he was looking like a poverty-stricken person. He doesn't even have a proper house to stay. Stays in some hut, sitting under a tree, simply whole day chanting. He has nothing else to do. But actually, that is his wealth. 3 lakh names he is chanting every day. That is his wealth. The chanting is his wealth. So, we should understand and properly calculate what is the devotee's opulence, spiritual opulence. Spiritual opulence is different from material opulence. Now, spiritual opulence can also be sometimes manifest like Sudama's wealth he got after he visited Krishna. Like one of Chaitanya's devotees, Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was very, 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 very rich. When, it's time up, last point, I'll close after this. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Gadadhar Pandit, before Gadadhar Pandit became Gadadhar Pandit, he was sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Pundarik Vidyanidhi to learn something about bhakti. So, Gadadhar went to Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He asked, where does he stay? So, they directed him to a very, very, very opulent palace, like building. So, he went inside and he was not sure whether I come to the right place. He's supposed to be a very learned person, very great devotee. And he had heard he is very renounced also. And renounced person, renunciant, he is a devotee, he is staying in an opulent palace. So he is not sure. When he went inside and confirmed it is the right place, right house he has reached. Yes. And then he saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi is dressed in very, very opulent clothing. So everything about him is only opulence, 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 attended by so many servants. And then he was not sure whether he can learn anything about bhakti from this person. So he was unsure. Then after some time passed, then he was feeling very, very uncomfortable, very uncertain whether he can learn something. So he is recommended by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was thinking, maybe I have not understood properly. What is there in him that he can teach? What is his learning? What is his realization about Krishna consciousness that I can learn from him? So anyway, he was going. One day suddenly, this Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he was visited upon by another devotee. That devotee started reciting some verses from the Bhagavatam, describing the gopis' devotion to Krishna. And then Pundarik Vidyanidhi went into ecstasy, hearing those verses. And then Gadadhar could understand, oh, he's a very, 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 very advanced devotee. Though he appears like an ordinary person, pound and shillings man, actually is a very advanced devotee. Then all his doubts were removed. So sometimes devotees, they may live in opulence, but they understand that opulence also is the mercy of Krishna, and they will strictly use that opulence only for Krishna's service and never use anything for their personal sense gratification. And within their heart, they will always be engaged in devotional service, thinking of Krishna, thinking of serving Krishna. That is the thing that is there in their heart always. Never they have any idea, how can I enjoy sense gratification with my riches, with my wealth? Never. That thought will never cross their mind even. So that is the difference between the devotees and the non-devotees. Non-devotees, even if they want to renounce, they'll have a very difficult time, because their mind will not be working in devotional service. Therefore, they'll have very difficult time trying to renounce whatever wealth they may have. If they are interested in spiritual life, they'll have a very difficult time renouncing what they have. And even if they renounce, somehow with great difficulty, such renunciation will not endure. It will be artificial. It will not endure. Whereas a devotee's renunciation is real. It is permanent, because of their attachment to Krishna, because of their attraction for Krishna, because of their devotional standing. They don't have any material attachments. Even if they are living in the midst of so much of material opulence, they have no attachment at all for any material opulence. This is the position of a devotee. So here Kapil Dev is telling that devotees, their opulence is spiritual opulence, and that is never to be destroyed, never to be any relationship they have with Krishna, any opulence given by Krishna, any spiritual opulences they are enjoying, they are always eternal, permanent, they never lose them. So their devotee's position is very, very unique and special. That's what Lord Kapila has described. I'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.